Hey, this is Scarf Banzai. In this video, I'll be talking about being effective with the tools that you have, but not being complacent when changing things up will really benefit you in various different ways. Now, I made a big change with the Canon Rebel SL2 for video. I've been trying to put a lot of effort into these YouTube videos, see where it goes, almost treating it like a job, potentially. And this camera has helped a lot in that regard. It's really changed the way that I do videos. It's helped a lot with that great autofocus. I don't have to do a lot of pre-focusing. I don't have to have a lot of issues with my Nikon cameras that I did have trying to do videos. So that said, there is the Canon M50 that came out a while ago, and it looks very appealing for this type of work. The big benefit is that if I potentially get two of those, I'll have to sell some things, and that's what a lot of this video is about. Sticking with what you have is good and it's fine. You're getting a lot of value out of what you buy, but it is also potentially very good to switch things up when you can. So I have the SL2, which I would need to trade in. I would also need to trade in something else. And I look at the equipment I have my full frame DSLRs that I use for straight photography for the most part. They do their job well, and I don't really want to get rid of those at this moment. So I have the Fujifilm X100F. The issue there is that it's a really great camera. It does what it does well. I use it for straight photos for the most part. Occasional video work, but I still have to pre-focus and all that. And it's great for conventions. I take it in a casual setting, has all the nice controls on it. So it's got that emotional aspect to the equipment, which I don't really tend to have, but it is a very nice camera. The thing is, I would need to trade that in as well. And I'm thinking I probably will do it depending on how all the costs are involved, because there are a lot of benefits to having two of the same camera to achieve certain things, and they're all actually benefits to the photography side of things as well. When you're short on funds in a hobby, you have to consider what you have currently, if you can trade that in, sell it, and get something else that will be more effective for you. In that case, I really do think smaller size makes a big difference for what I do. With the M50, it is a little bit smaller than the SL2, just the camera body, but the lenses are quite a bit smaller for basically the equivalent. So with the M series lenses, there's 11 to 22 millimeter lens, very small looking compared to the one that I picked up for the EFS mount, which is the 10 to 18 millimeter lens. Very nice lens. I'm going to try to do a video on it before I potentially sell it, but the size difference is pretty significant. And there are a lot of benefits to a smaller size. I can be more effective. I can take more with me to achieve what I want. A good thing about having two of the same camera, if I were to trade in the X100F and SL2 for two M50s, would be one, the same camera means the same batteries, and they can also achieve the same goal, especially with the video stuff, but even with photos. And if one of the cameras breaks, I have something to achieve what I need. I can't really do that with the Nikon cameras very easily if the SL2 were to break. Same control scheme, it just really works out. If I were to try to do some type of interviews, I can use two different angles with two different M50s. Small cameras, I can probably take both at the same time. I think that'll really help out. Another thing, I was looking into the 3-axis gimbals. They get pretty expensive as you have to use larger cameras with them. With an M50 and the 11 to 22 millimeter, I think I can get away with one of those more mobile oriented gimbals, which is a lot less expensive, and it'll achieve what I'm looking for, plus the smaller size of gimbal should make it easier to use in practice and get me more motivated to take it with me, because it won't be a large bulk to carry around. So aspects like that really make the smaller size more appealing, especially considering the M50 at the moment is about the same price as the SL2. So if I even were to consider a second SL2. It just doesn't make sense in that regard. The M50, of course, is not perfect. It has some drawbacks, potentially because Canon just wants to hold those features back for their more expensive cameras. But that said, those cameras will be more expensive. They will potentially be larger. It's just not good to wait if I don't need to in that case, because I can trade things in when they still have a good value to them, and I have all those benefits from now instead of later on, where something might happen but it won't. I can still get some benefit out of the 4K even though it has quite a few drawbacks. Just having the extra area to crop in situations where I can just simply pre-focus, it should work out pretty well. So all that said, it looks like I might be going that route. It's interesting to think about being more effective, being more efficient, taking that Kaizen continuous improvement approach to this when I consider it in a way work, but I also want to keep it very artistic, keep it enjoyable for everyone, especially you and me, myself, so it stays fresh, it stays interesting to make these videos. So I'm curious if you've thought about things the same way with your photography. Considering your tools, I don't really get into the whole coolness factor of cameras. Of course, the X100F does have that coolness factor, but it was more of an effective tool with those nice dials and controls on it. So there was a real purpose to picking it up when I did for certain uses, but I can't really justify the money that I've put into it at the moment when I can use it somewhere else to be more effective with my current goals. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing. That helps me out a lot. Likes and shares help out a lot as well. Thanks again.